there. Have you ever dreaded dinner time because you've worked 8 or 9 or 10 hours and you just don't know what to cook after working all day long? I have a solution for you. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a pot roast in the crock pot. So to start with, we're going to need a crock pot with a high and a low setting. We're also going to need a utensil for stirring the liquid as well as flipping the meat. A knife is recommended to open the packaging of the meat. You're also going to need measuring spoons for oil, as well as a measuring cup or beaker for some of the other ingredients. Now, you need a good choice of meat. So the meat that I'm going to be using here today is going to be a sirloin roast, a sirloin chuck roast to be specific. It's very important that you pick a sirloin meat that's going to leave you with a very tender and flavorful roast at the end. Now for wet ingredients, you're going to use 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, your choice. I prefer to use light olive oil. You can also use vegetable oil for this, it's not specific. I also have beef broth here, 2/3 of a cup. So you can either use already made beef broth, or you can make your own using bouillon cubes or bouillon paste. Either way, you need 2/3 of a cup of broth. For the dry ingredients, all you're going to need is 1 package of ranch seasoning. These are 1 ounce packages, and au jus gravy seasoning. This is also a 1 ounce package. Here I have a plate, a dinner plate of flour, no specific measurement on this, just enough flour. We need it to coat the roast, okay? So first here, we're going to take the roast, and we have to open it, of course. So we're going to open the roast, and then what you need to do is you need to coat the roast on all sides with flour. So I have the roast here. I'm going to coat it just lightly, just enough on each side. Dunk it a few times, push it in there. Make sure it's nice and coated, not too much. You just want enough so you can still see the coloring of the meat through the flour. You don't want it to be completely white. That's going to be too much. It's going to get mushy. It's going to get gross. Okay. Just push it. Now this is why I didn't give too much of a measurement for the flour, because you kind of just enough to coat your roast. No specific size on the roast. It's kind of whatever suits your family size. Okay. So now the roast is nice and coated. There's not too much flour on it. You can see all sides have, oh, we missed a spot here, so let's get some more. Nice and in there really well. Okay. It's coated on all sides. It's great. So I'm going to set that aside. You're going to take your 2 tablespoons of oil and just pour it in the crock pot. That's well done. Now we're going to take the roast that we just coated in flour, shake it off a bit, and we're just going to plop it in the crock pot like so. Okay? Now this is why I have the towel here. Okay. Then we're going to take our 1 ounce package of Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning packet, and we are just going to sprinkle it over the roast. You're going to use all of the seasoning in this package. So just sprinkle it all around. Great. Then we're going to take our au jus. This is McCormick, but it doesn't have to be McCormick. Any au jus gravy sauce will do. And we're going to sprinkle this also just over the top, kind of all over the roast. Nice and even. Perfect. We've used it all. Make sure you use it all. Great. Now we're going to take our 2/3 of a cup of beef broth. It's already made, and just pour it in. I like to pour it on top of the roast, just so it kind of mixes up the seasoning. Perfect. All right. Now, you need to make sure your crock pot is plugged in. Mine is plugged in. So I'm going to put the lid on. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set it on high for 6 hours. Now during the cooking process, you want to make sure that you stir the liquid every once in a while. You also want to make sure that you're flipping the meat. If you don't flip the meat, it's going to get dry on one side, and you don't want that. So we've gone over the ingredients. Now my roast is going to cook for 6 hours while I go to work. And my roast is going to be all set when I get home. So I like to say, like Ron Popeil, set it and forget it.